Good morning, everyone. Let's deal with the part two geriatric rehabilitation, wherein we are going to focus on principles of geriatric rehabilitation. Principles of geriatric rehabilitation. When we talk about principles of geriatric rehabilitation, we have to classify them between the three headings. Those are these are the three main principles, which are variability of the aged, activity versus inactivity, and optimal health. Talking about variability of the aged. The aged are more variable in their level of functional capabilities. The differences that can be identified cognitively are totally different compared to the youngsters. Examples of variability can be defined as reaction time, visual capability, strength, cognition. Also, remember one more thing: chronological age is a poor indicator of physical or cognitive function. When you define an age by physically, you cannot tell a person's brain is weakened depending on the chronological age. Best example is Isaac Newton. Though he was very aged, he could use his brain to the utmost capacity on comparison with an youngsters as well. So chronological age is poor indicator for physical or even cognitive function. So let's look at some few examples of variability. First one, reaction time. Imagine a person is walking. He sees again a crocodile. He encounters a crocodile on his way. Instead of coming back, he gets confused. Instead of coming back and taking a new path where there is no crocodile, he continues walking on the same pathway. This might be due to loss of cognition. He may have forgotten the crocodile, or it might be due to loss of reaction time as well. Instead of understanding how to change the direction, he just continues walking in the same direction. That is known as loss of reaction time. Second one, imagine a person is hungry, wherein he wants to eat food. He asks his wife to cook some food and get it for himself. But when he reaches that, he thinks the food is on the table depending on the smell. But when he reaches the table, he finds that food is not on the table, but food is in the kitchen only, ready on the plate. This is He can see the food, but it is again a little far away when he approaches the food. This is nothing but he is confused with the distance where the food is. On seeing also, this is nothing but visual capability. The vision is impaired between near vision and far vision. He doesn't understand whether the object is near or far. This is visual capability variability. Coming to the third point of variability. Imagine a person can lift 50 kg once he was young on the top of his head. But once the age is increased, definitely, as we saw the musculoskeletal structure, that there is definite reduction in the height, definite reduction in bone mineral density. He cannot lift the 50 kg amount on the top of his head. This is nothing but variability in the strength. Coming to the fourth point of variability, that is cognition. Cognition can be defined with several terms, that is, hearing, speech, memory, and various more. Let's take a part of memory. Imagine a person is walking to some place B, starts from the point A. He sees a person in between, and the person is his friend. But when on response to the hi, he doesn't understand whether that person he knows the person or not. So he continues walking. That is nothing but your cognition deficiency or cognition variability. Though this person can be the person A can be same age as person B. This is nothing but variability in cognition. Coming to activity and inactivity. Common reason for loss of function is nothing but inactivity or immobility. When the age increases, the person doesn't understand that whether he's scared of doing movement, or this is occurring due to the age, or I have got some disease. Almost all people, once the age has increased, they think that they develop n number of diseases. But ideally, the age progression has various phases. wherein every body system has different kind of aging factors. Thus, progression of age must be differentiated between a deceased to an elderly patient, or else he will land up in inactivity. Now, take a person for an example, and he has to walk down to his home, which is about a kilometer away from his wherever he is standing. So, if he was youngster, he could have walked up to his home nicely, easily, without any trouble. But what if his age is progressed to about 80? There is definite loss of function by all the systems. Loss of peripheral nervous system function, that is, neural conduction velocity is lost, hence the motor nerve conduction velocity is lost, hence there is motor performance impairment. Coming to the musculoskeletal, the degeneration of the bone is increased because of loss of or reduction in the BMD, that is your bone mineral density. Hence he has developed various joints pain. Also, there is a reduction in the spinal height. He has got slouched posture. He cannot walk more distance. There are so many n number of factors. Keeping this aside, which is the normal aging process, there's one more known as psychological part, wherein the person starts thinking that I have become useless. I cannot do certain small activities as well. So this part was is very important when you're talking about aging, because this precedes the rest. So, due to loss of function, or because of all the other factors which we have discussed in the previous video, he gets confused. He thinks that it's better to sit and wait for someone to pick me up rather than walking and paining my knee more and increasing the pain in the knee, increase in the pain in the back. And there are a number of factors which he will be thinking, like, what if I get lost on the way to my home? So he will better think that I will wait for someone to pick me up. Hence, obstacles in performing activities can be progress of aging itself. We discussed all of them in the previous video. If you people have not watched it, I'll put the link down in the description box below. You can go back and watch it. So, point B, distinguish between the effects of inactivity from those of disease. I just now told you that a aging person won't understand what is disease and what are the effects of inactivity. So, please make sure any elderly person in your home, you have to make a person do the activity by himself. Third point, challenge of understanding the relationship between a physiological decline and functional loss. You have to make an elderly person understand that these are the normal process of aging, and if he has some due to which there is definite functional loss, the disease is totally different. You have to make a person understand that due to progression of age you have got this loss of function. If you do it more with a more effort, you might land up with some severe dysfunction like fracture. So he has to understand the relationship between both of them. Also remember, when mobility can be divided into acute and chronic mobility. Deconditioning results from immobility. It involves multiple organ systems of the body. Coming to common effects of immobility. First one, take a scenario when elderly patient, a very aged person about 85 plus or 90, is continuously sleeping for about 10 hours, 12 hours, take it for example. On asking him to wake up, that is either by alarm or someone else calling, suddenly he wakes up. I already mentioned in the first video that there is something called as thermal system or thermoregulation system, which checks your BP on sitting and standing position as well. Due to orthostatic hypotension, he might land up in loss of balance or sway and tend to fall. Hence, thermoregulation is altered by prolonged bed rest. Let's look how it alters. Alteration of thermoregulation after prolonged bed rest declines the motor performance and balance decrement after 2 to 3 weeks continuous bed rest. Third point, orthostatic hypotension occurs within the first week of inactivity. Fourth point, overall immobilization accelerates the process of aging. This is very important. Overall immobilization accelerates the process of aging. Hence, I have been repeating the same sentence that if you catch up any elderly at your home, make sure he mobilizes by himself. He becomes independent, or else he will be dependent forever throughout his lifespan. Coming to now bed rest. Bed rest is very important for some conditions. So now how to understand bed rest is important or not important? So next point is use it or lose it. Split up the term bed and rest. Bed, bladder and bowel incontinence and retention. If you use bed rest and bowel bed rest for a little duration, there is no incontinence developed. If you use it for a longer duration, such as seen in geriatric people, there is definitely bladder and bowel incontinence because they might feel lazy. So they stop holding their urination process and bowel excretion process. So what they do is they start holding it within, hence developing incontinence and retention. Also, bed rest is known to prone for bed sore. Definitely, a person who is continuously lying on bed will definitely get bed sore. Coming to E, if a person continuously sleeps for around 12 hours or 14 hours per day without any work, just sleeping with eyes open, he will land up in emotional trauma. Also, electrolyte imbalance. Coming to point D, deconditioning of muscles, nerves, also leading to depression, demineralization of bone. Deconditioning of muscles and nerves caused due to inactivity by the brain, by the muscles, which hence there is no signal passed to the brain, hence there is deconditioning of muscles and nerves. Depression, I already told you. Demineralization of bone. Elizaro told that on compression or stretching of the bone can lead to an increase in the bone strength, that is mineralization of bone. So there is no load on the bone, hence there is demineralization of the bone during bed rest. Coming to the rest phase part of bed rest. R stands for range of motion loss and contracture. Range of motion is lost due to bed rest, leading towards contracture and also restlessness because the muscle wants to move. Since so many years, he has been moving the muscle. Hence, once he is put on continuous bed rest, there is restlessness phase seen. Coming to E, energy depletion. Energy depletion is definitely seen in bed rest as well. S, sensory deprivation and sleep disorder because he's continuously lying on the bed. He doesn't know what time to sleep, what time to wake up. There is all time has become mismatched between the day and night. Hence, he gets sleep disorder. Coming to T, this all signs once it occurs in bed rest, it is a big trouble. So T stands for trouble. Last slide, sorry. Coming to optimal length. According to WHO, health is defined as state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, but not merely the absence of the disease. Once the progression of age is seen, due to changes in various systems, which we have already discussed in the first video, they might land up with some clinical symptoms, such as osteoarthritis of knee. We know that you cannot stop osteoarthritis of knee. It is just the factor that you have to prevent the loss of function, you have to reduce the pain, you have to prevent muscle tightness and eventually leading to knee joint contracture, that is hamstring contracture. So these are all the clinical symptoms developed by the aging process. uh, a preventive approach to physical health needs to be in the foreground when addressing the needs of the aged. Before treating something in age, prevention, we have already learned in a medical fraternity that prevention is better than cure. Hence, prevent the disease to occur or the dysfunction to occur at the earliest in order rather than curing up the disease. So, start strengthening the knee musculature once the age has reached. Once the person has reached the approximate age of getting known as aged or the old age person, start training his knee joint so that he will never land up in TKR or he will delay the process of TKR. Hence, please remember prevention is better than cure. This was the end of the geriatric rehabilitation part 2. Let's meet you all in the rehabilitation phase of the geriatric people. Thank you.